Hey, everybody, this is Jeff. Welcome to the Bonded Brotherhood Podcast.
Here we are, Jeff.
Yeah.
First episode, huh?
Boy, I'm emotional already. I have been thinking about starting this for years. Here we are.
Here we are. I've got goosebumps. I'm a little nervous, but that's real, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have a real for those of you that are listening in, this is going to be about as real as it gets. We're not professional podcasters. We're just real guys, and we're going to have a real conversation, and it might get a little heavy, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, I honestly have been nervous about how vulnerable I'm willing to be here. We're just a couple dumb blue-collar guys that that feel called to do something outside of ourselves and to be helpful. And so through that is how my brainchild, Bonded Brotherhood's come to be. And I could not have asked for someone better to help along the way than Steve Smith. He was brought to me at the perfect time to bring this to fruition. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. And let's talk about that, because we went on a hunting trip with our boys, right?
Yeah.
And we started talking about this in the truck on the way back. And you started just unloading all your ideas of what you had been thinking about and talking about. And it just clicked with me. I thought, this is what we have got to do, right? We're normal dudes, aren't we?
I try to be.
I think we're pretty average, normal guys. We had our boys in the back, and they were listening to our conversation. And I remember we stopped and asked them, "Hey, what do you guys think about this?" And they were intently listening. And
yeah. There was one point when we were having this discussion driving from central Wyoming back to northern Utah in the night. It's dark, a little bit of snowy roads at this point, and I was opening up and sharing these ideas like I never had before. And you asked the boys, you're like, "Hey, did you know that men talk about things like this?" And they're like, "No, we had no idea that grown men talk about these things."
Yeah.
And I was thankful that you asked that question. I thought, what a great topic, or lesson or example, whatever you want to call it, that we can share with our growing teenage boys, that you can be vulnerable. You can talk about things that are on your mind, and you're incredibly lucky if you can find a friend that you can share it with. So,
well, and why were we talking about that too? I don't remember really how it came up, but
I remember. We're both blue collar guys in the construction world. Things are slow right now. So we were both brainstorming of different things that we could do on the side to bring in a little bit more money. And I said, let me tell you something that I've been thinking of and wanting to do. And as I started to explain it, it started to make more sense to me as I was saying the words. What I wanted to create was, I hadn't said it out loud. So as I was saying it out loud, what I wanted to create and that I needed you there to help me, it just came out. And it's something that I'm incredibly excited about, because I want to help. I just want to help. The entire intent of Bonded Brotherhood is to find men that need help, and hopefully we can offer something to them that will improve their lives.
Yeah, because we're all going through some kind of mental, it gets tough, right? I just turned 50 a couple months ago in December, and it's not life. My life doesn't suck by any means, right? Mm-hmm. But man, 50 years, it's a lot of stuff that happens in your life that it's going to show up in some way, whether childhood stuff or marital stuff or feeling inadequate about things or whatever. I'm going through that right now. Why am I not more progressed than I am? Why am I not retired? Why am I not rich? Why am I not in shape? Why am I not, the list goes on, right? Mm-hmm. So as we were talking, everything you were talking about was just hitting home with me. And I thought, yeah, this is what we need to do. And like you said, we were both looking for something more to do. And I don't think we weren't looking at this as making money, but helping. Right?
That's a good clarification, because I did say that was the conversation we were having is, you know, can I start a little business here? You know, you had considered buying another business and you were looking into it. And I said, here is something that I think that we should be doing.
Yes.
You know, and it shifted. This isn't a moneymaker. We started Bonded Brotherhood as a nonprofit organization with the intent of and being fully aware that money prevents people from doing things.
Yes.
If we were to charge a price for this, it could get really expensive for men to participate. And that is not what we want. We want to reach men that need help, need a community, need to be heard, need to be validated, need to sit around a campfire and hear other men talk about their lives and their experience and go, oh, I thought it was just me that felt like this.
Yeah.
Guys, you're not alone. And that's what Bonded Brotherhood is we want to build a community for men where no matter where you are at in life, we want to get you out. Our initial ideas are we're going to do camping retreats. We live in northern Utah. We have grown up in the mountains here, hiking, hunting, fishing, shooting guns. We know this area so well. We've got some sweet spots picked out that we want to share with you. And we want you to have a weekend away where you can come and just be around like-minded men with no expectations. Just show up and just be, and let nature, let peace, let the lack of responsibility speak to you. And along the way, we've engineered this so that you're going to be meeting other people who may be experiencing similar challenges as you. There's, the old saying, iron sharpens iron, and going through tough times alone is the most difficult way to go through tough things.
Yeah.
So we want to provide a network. We want to build a community where you can come, even if it's for just a weekend, even if it's just listening to our podcasts. We're trying to build value to you in everything that we do. With that, little side note, we will be releasing a weekly podcast every Tuesday. It'll come out 4:00 in the morning, Utah time. I believe that's 6:00 New York time every week. We're going to have some content for you. And we just want we're working so hard to make sure that everything we put out is of use to you.
Yeah, and like Jeff said, this is real stuff. It doesn't matter where you are in the country right now. This applies to you. As we grow this, we're going to get guys out here, and we're not professional therapists at all. We're just a couple guys that feel strongly about helping out our fellow guys, because it seems like kind of we're under attack, through social media and just life in general. And I know for me, I've got to have a carrot dangling out in front of me once a month. We'll get into this later, maybe in another episode, but I was really good at once a month having some kind of getaway for me. I needed to have a hunting trip or a fishing trip every 4 to 6 weeks. I could get away and not spend a lot of money because I'm not rich, but I needed that. And I really stuck to that. Well, let's start with you, Jeff. Okay. Let's dive a little bit into your history. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? Where are you coming from? Let's just start from the beginning.
Okay.
Who is Jeff Lowe?
Ooh, right now he's a crybaby. Yeah. So I'm Jeff Lowe. I have lived my entire life in Smithfield, Utah, and am incredibly grateful that I have. When I graduated from college, I had some job offers in different places. We were headed to Arizona, and I made a conscious decision. I want to raise my kids here. I've had such an amazing time growing up in this community that I didn't want to leave, and I had a wife that 100% was supportive of that, and we've been lucky to stay here and find enough work to raise our kids here. I'm a blue-collar guy. I always have been. I I've done concrete, I've done framing, I've done, I'm just a blue collar guy. I break down my life at this point. I'm almost 49 years old, and I look back on my life and I break it down in eras. To me, I have eras of my life. I have my childhood. I have an era when I was in my late teens. I have an era of being a newlywed. I have an era of once I was a father. Gosh, dang it. And I have an era after my dad died. And every one of those eras, I can look back at myself and I can see my struggles. I can see things that I was good at. So I'm going to start after I graduated from high school. We'll start there. I started working 2 jobs. I'd been graduated from high school. I was working at Utah State University in their the housing department. I was a maintenance guy. I'd go around and fix broken furnaces and people's sinks and, all sorts of things. Whatever was going on in the apartments at Utah State University, I was on the crew. We'd go fix stuff. I loved it. I worked with a great group of guys. I had, and right away, I felt like I should be doing more. I'm getting off work at 4:30 in the afternoon. I should be doing more. And so I went and got a job at a resort. It's called Sherwood Hills in a beautiful mountain canyon nearby us. And they had hotels there. Basically, it was a big hotel up in the mountains, and it had a nice restaurant and things like that. So I went and got a job up there working evenings. So I'd work my day job. And again, I'm 18 years old at this point. And I'd get off work at, I think it was 4:30. And by 5 o'clock, I had to hustle clear through town and up to this resort. And I'd work till midnight-ish. And doing maintenance up there, doing the same thing that I did all day. And I did that for a while, and I just didn't feel like enough. And I had a church leader call me in one day, and he said, "I've been thinking about you." And I said, "Okay, that's kind of weird." I wasn't really into it, and we talked a little bit, and he said, "What do you want out of life?" And without even skipping a beat, I said, "All I want is to be happy. I'm searching to be happy. I don't feel like I ever really have been. I don't know if I know what that feels like. I don't know how to get it." And he goes, "Oh." He didn't offer me anything. He didn't give me guidance. He just listened. But him asking that question, I've thought back to that moment over and over and over my life, the last 30-something years, since this guy asked me, "What do you want?" Because I ask myself that all the time. What do you want? I'm having having an argument with my wife, and I'll ask myself, "What do you want?" And the answer is always the same. I want peace. I want to be happy. Mm. What I'm arguing with her about right now doesn't matter. Mm. I was starting to get after her a little bit last week, and I had that thought, "What do you want?" And I looked over, and my son was sitting there staring at me, and I thought, "Jeff, shut up. No, it doesn't matter. Look at the big picture." So anyway, that led me on a journey. Yeah, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Yeah, let me interrupt you. What was it about the 2 jobs? Was it the money that you were looking for, just to fill up your time, or was it to feel like you were being productive? Because that's not a typical 18-year-old kid thing to do, right? They want to work and then they want to go screw around.
Yeah.
And anymore right now, kids don't even want to work. So What was it? Do you know what it was?
Yeah. Gosh dang it. Here we go. We're going to get real. I wanted my dad to be proud of me.
What kid doesn't want that, huh?
And he had never said or done anything that made me feel like he wasn't proud of me. But I thought, if I do more, if he sees how much I'm working, if he sees, and that theme continued for a while, for a long time. I did things and lived my life thinking, if I do this, they'll be happy. If I do this, they'll be proud of me. I didn't recognize it at the time, but I 100% with no question can look back and say, that's why I did it. That's why I did it.
And I know your dad. I knew your dad.
Yeah.
Great guy. Cool. Got some good memories with your dad.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What was it about you wanting to make your dad proud? What was it about him?
Well, he had done a lot. In my eyes, he was someone to look up to. I think he was 21 years old and got his draft number. Vietnam was going on. And I didn't know this story until about a week before he died. We were out hunting ducks, and I asked him, I said, what was it like watching your draft number getting closer and closer? And he goes, well, I haven't really told many people this, but I didn't get drafted. He
enlisted.
He enlisted on his own. He went and enlisted, signed up for the Army, and then had to go home and tell his mother what he'd done. The Vietnam War is raging at this time. And he went and enlisted in the Army, went through basic training, went through all the things, AIT, and there's so much of that world that I don't know. But anyway, he went on to become a drill instructor and was a drill instructor for the people that did get drafted and enlisted on their own in Fort Ord in Southern California. He ended up staying in the Army for almost 37 years. He was in Afghanistan when he turned 60. And my understanding is when you turn 60 in the military, typically you're done, you retire. He was able to complete his time. He's like, I'm not leaving my guys over here in Afghanistan. So anyway, he completed that tour, came home, retired. That was my dad.
Wow.
So again, he didn't say or do anything to me that made me feel like I wasn't enough. I just wanted him to be proud. So that's something I put on myself. So
let me ask you this. Do you think he is?
No question.
No question.
No question. Yeah. Yep. We'll get to it, but later on in my life, when I was doing even more than I was, just giving everything to work and my family, and, maybe ask me this later, but he asked me, when's enough? You're doing okay. When's enough? When are you going to go home and be with those 3 kids you got? They're pretty awesome. And I didn't hear it at the time, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So that's how I started my adult life, feeling like if I did more, if I worked more, it had absolutely nothing to do with the money, that somebody would be proud of me, even strangers, like I just wanted to be seen as a good person instead of looking inside of myself. I wanted people to look at me and think, oh, he's a good dude, or, oh, he's funny, or, man, that guy's a hard worker. And I don't know where that came from, but I was in college and I was taking a full load and working a full-time job. We'll skip to the college years.
Yeah. 16 credits.
16, 18 credits. Yeah. I was working a full-time job. I was working a graveyard shift, working 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. and a full-time college student, and was married. And
sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah. So I had this math class that was so difficult for me. And I lived in this apartment that was, if you're from Logan, it's referred to as the island. Basically, it's down in this canyon below Utah State University. And I lived in this apartment that I would walk from my apartment down in the island, and there was a trail that we'd hike up. There's some switchbacks. We'd hike up this trail, cross the road, and I'd be on campus. Well, I had been up on campus all day studying for this math test, and it was hard. It was like a lot of college people. College is hard, period. So anyway, I'm leaving campus. I'm walking, and I look up, and the mountain valley that Steve and I live in is absolutely beautiful, pristine mountain valley. It's as beautiful as any place you could imagine. And Utah State University is right up on this hill where I was standing, walking back off of campus. I was about to go down off this hill, down into a canyon, and I looked up. And I looked at the beautiful valley, and I thought, I am so blessed. Look at where I live, and I'm able to be going to college. Dumb old me is able to be going to college, and I'm stressed out about math, but I'm thankful that I'm learning math. I'm thankful that I'm in college, and look at where I live. It was a moment of peace. I needed it. I don't know where it came from. I'll say I don't know where it came from, but we all do. A little tender mercy that pops into my life here and there, and I recognize it, and I instantly felt peace. A few days later, I was at my mom and dad's house having dinner with them, probably a Sunday, and I shared that with my dad. He was asking, how's life? How's work? How's college? I'm like, it's kicking my butt. It's hard. I said, but let me tell you the highlight of my week. So I was walking off campus. I'm struggling with this math class. I have to get a good grade on it so that I can make it into the program that I want to get into. And he got a little teary-eyed. And I'd never seen my dad cry, ever. And he goes, I'll be right back. And he went downstairs and came back, and he had this little leather case. And he said, I've always wondered what I'm going to do with this, but I want you to have it. And what it was this big gold medal that was given to my grandpa from the governor of Utah. And I wish I could remember. I'm sure I could ask some of my aunts, and they'd help me figure out some dates. But my grandpa worked for Utah Power and Light. He was a lineman. And there was a massive snowstorm that came through northern Utah. And these linemen put on snowshoes and had these great big long poles, and they walked along the foothills of Cache Valley where the power lines are and reached up and tapped the snow off the power lines to keep the power on for Cache Valley. And it went for days. It was one of those snowstorms that just goes and goes and goes, and by the time it's over, there's feet of snow. Well, in order to make sure that people still had their electricity on, I think this is probably back in the 40s. And when it was all done, when this storm was done, the governor heard about these linemen that did this incredible task day and night. They were walking back and forth. And when I say foothills, we're talking foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Yeah. It's not walking a flat trail. There were no trails. We're up and down, up this hill, down into this canyon. The place where the power lines are, they're still there. I live nearby them, and I remember this from time to time. But the governor came through and had a big ceremony and thanked the linemen for keeping the power on. And my dad was proud of me, and he gave me that medal. He didn't say he was proud of me, but he told me that story and said, you should probably have this. You're working hard too. That's about as much affection as I ever got out of my dad, which is fine, is what it is. But I knew he was proud of me. I knew he respected what I was doing. There's that. So
we can get into the goose story at a different time.
I'm not. Yeah,
not ready right now.
I'm not ready. I'm not. I think if I told that story, no one would understand it because that'd be a bubbling mess. But we will get there. I've had some neat experiences with my dad. So I graduate from Utah State University.
In what?
I had a history degree. I studied history. And I had, I don't remember if it was a degree, a certificate, or whatever. But anyway, I went into secondary education. So right after I graduated, actually before I graduated, I had a job offer to start teaching school at a middle school here in town. I got hired to teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade history. So I was teaching world history, Utah history, and United States history.
Is that why you went to college? You wanted to be a teacher?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was my degree. It didn't just happen. That's was my focus. Yeah. And I loved it, man. I love teaching.
Yeah. Didn't you get Teacher of the Year?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Huh?
At one point I got the Utah Teacher of the Year, but that seems like a lifetime ago.
Right.
Yeah. But again, I repeated my pattern. This one was different though, because I had a couple kids at home. I had built a house the summer. So let's see, I got a job offer probably March or April of 2005. I graduated in May, started building a house right away, started teaching school late August. Kept building the house, and we moved in that house the middle of December of 2005. And right away, before springtime came, I realized as much as I may want to be a school teacher and as much as I love being a school teacher, I can't remember who it was that said, you can go broke on love. And it didn't matter how much I loved my job, I was going broke. I was burning through my savings, trying to be a dad and a homeowner on a teacher's salary. So I went out and got another job. I started selling cars in the evenings. I went to a local car dealership, said, hey, I don't know anything about this, but I'm a quick learner. They hired me. So I'd teach school. I'd go directly from school straight to the car lot, work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I did that for, I don't know, maybe a year, not quite a year. And Saturdays I was at the car lot. And then I was like, man, if I'm going to be working this hard, I don't want to be working that second job for somebody else. So I started my own little business on the side and kept teaching school, loved everything about it. I look at Bonded Brotherhood and why I want to do it, and it takes me back to the classroom. When I was in the classroom, the most joy I got was helping those kids that didn't have anybody to help them. The first day of school, as I'm meeting this new group of kids in all my classes every day, I got pretty good at this. It's not real hard to do if you pay attention. But I would go through as I'm meeting these kids and they're introducing themselves and I'm trying to get to know them and it's the first day of school. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I will know your parents really well. Your parents will be in here all the time. I'm going to be friends with your parents probably. You poor thing. Your parents will never answer the phone. They're never going to return an email. They're never going to return a voicemail. I will never know your parents, but I'm here for you. And I would make those kids my little pet projects. And I, of course, couldn't make them my favorite. Everybody had to feel welcomed and comfortable in my classroom, but that's why I love teaching. I got joy out of helping those kids that when they went home, no one was helping them. So I did. I'd show up to school half hour, 45 minutes early and tell them, I'm here. If you guys can find a way to get here, I'm here to help you. And not just in my class, in any class. And I'm here for 45 minutes to an hour after school every day, and my door is open. Come in, as well as doing different things in the classroom. So anyway, my business that I started on the side that was supposed to be just a little supplemental thing kept growing and growing, and I got to the point where for years and years, 10 plus years, I'd get up at 5:30 in the morning, go to the gym, come home, shower, go to school. As soon as I was done teaching school, I'd go straight to my second job.
So a decade of 2 professional gigs simultaneously.
Yeah, at least.
Working.
Yeah.
And I know you had employees, so you're running employees as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a handful of guys helping me and trying to be a dad and trying to be a spouse. And, I just thought
And why? Because you had to.
I had to.
Had to.
No, I didn't. I got to take some accountability here. I did not have to do it. I felt like I had to do it. While I was doing it, I felt like I had to do it. But looking back at it now, I was like, no, I made that choice. I can't sell the experience short. I could have at any point said, I need to be at home. I need to be a better husband. I need to be a better dad. And this is hands down the biggest regret I have in life. I didn't see it as an option then. I thought I had to. And
well, let me cut you off right there, though, because we've known each other a long time. You're the best dad I know of. And that's not just to blow smoke. I've told you this how many times? You're the best dad I know of. So I think you're just providing maybe what you didn't have growing up, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what we all do.
Yeah, 100%.
We try so hard to do and provide what we didn't get.
Yeah, I think that that's human nature for men. I think that we all do that. I think generation after generation could go back and say, I want to be a better parent than I had. You know,
yeah, look
even
at our friends and guys you know that are grinding.
Yeah.
Just sacrificing everything.
Yeah.
Like you're a living example of it right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was in that. That was me. And several different points, I was so miserable. So miserable. And I have my oldest son, who is almost 21 years old. He had to have been 3, 4. And I was so burned out. I didn't know I was burned out. I didn't know stopping or slowing down was an option. All I knew was go, 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 do more, create more, be more. And when I was in it, I didn't know that slowing down or stopping or cutting back was an option. To me, it wasn't an option. And I went through some, and it wasn't just this one time. This is a theme that's continued for a long time, is some deep depression. Part of that I've come to learn is genetic. Part of it is what I did to myself and the situation I put myself in. Steve, you know this story. My wife knows this story, but no one else does. There was a day that I was done. And I was so full of pain and darkness and despair. I saw no way out. And I was going to end my life. And I knew where I was going to go. I knew what I was going to do. I knew when someone would find me. I had it all planned out. And I was walking out the door. My wife was in our bedroom putting our daughter to sleep, and my son was taking a nap. My third wasn't born yet. And it's just kind of quiet in the house, and I thought, I'm good with this. I'm done. There is nothing good. This pain has to end. And I'm walking out of the house. I'm walking quiet. I open the door to go out into the garage to get in my car to leave. And I'm almost to my car. And my son comes running into the garage. Daddy, don't go. Daddy, don't go. Where are you going? Don't go. And so I just broke down crying, went over and picked him up, told him how much I loved him, told him I'd never leave him. That came from God. That came from God. God woke him up because he's never done that before or since. He was in a panic that I was leaving the house. And I recognized it for what it was at that moment. I thought, okay, I can do more. Again, not slow down, not get some help, not stop doing something, just, okay, God, I can keep going. I can do more. I'll make it through. I'll do more. And I kept working, and I kept growing my business, and I kept teaching school, and I kept being more and more miserable. And there's so much to that life that's just dark.
And how many guys do you think listening right now feel
it breaks my heart, but
they're
I think it's
you
common.
right now?
Breaks my heart, but I think it's common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if they weren't working as hard or doing whatever, everybody's story is their own. No one is living my story but me. So you don't have to drive yourself to the exhaustion point that I did to feel what I did. It can be, I freaking hate my job, but I don't feel like I have an option to switch because I have a mortgage and a wife and kids, and I can't afford to restart. That puts the same pressure on a guy. Maybe it's the guy that has worked all these years. He's our age. He's 40-something, almost 50-something. I know this guy personally that has always wanted a dog. I worked with a guy that always wanted a dog. Like, if I could just have a dog. I'm like, go get a dog, bud. They're beautiful. We don't deserve dogs. Come over and play with my dog. Let me bring my dog over to you. Like, just trying to be a friend to this coworker that I had. And he's like, when he's like, I'm not in a spot in my life that I can have a dog. He's like, I work all day. Who's going to take care of the dog all day while I'm at work? Like, yeah, I get that. That guy wants a dog so bad to me because he wants a relief. He worked the same place I did, and we had a butthole for a boss. You know, he needed some stress relief. This guy was living off of not very much money, was the sole provider at his house, and raising kids. I respected him so much. And he'd show up with a smile on his face, and he was friendly. But I saw in him what I had felt in myself and had compassion for him. And so I was always, hey, what can I do for you? I want to help you. Dude, this has got to be stressful to you. What can I do to help you? It's that guy. How many of that guy are out there right now? All right. Maybe it's the guy that wakes up at 50 years old and has thought that he's been happy, but all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I used to hunt. I used to fish. I used to ride mountain bikes. I haven't done any of that in years because I've been doing what I thought was right, was being a good dad. I love my kids. I put everything into my kids as I should, and I'm not, you know. But two things can be true at the same time, Steve. You can feel called to be a great dad and put all that time and energy in to giving them what you think they need, and also be neglecting yourself at the same time. Both things are true. And then you wake up one day and you're like, I want to go fish, but I don't even have a fishing pole anymore. I can't remember how to go get a fishing license or a hunting license anymore. I don't know who I would go with. I haven't had lunch or talked to a friend in so many years. Who am I supposed to call?
Yeah, you lose connection.
Yeah.
That's where I was at so I grew up not having parental support in coming to my games. You know, I played soccer, football, basketball. I don't want to throw my parents under the bus, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So when I started having kids, I'm like, I'm going to be involved in their lives. You know, I've coached little league or flag football, baseball for years. My daughter is in volleyball now and did gymnastics and things like that. You just go, go, go. And where we live, it's just every day you're doing something for your kids. It's a game. It's a this, it's a that. It's a piano recital And yeah, that hits home to me because I used to fish all the time. I used to golf all the time. And then I just quit golfing. There just wasn't time to golf.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I can
wanna
sacrifice certain things to free up time for other things. Because if you have kids, you're responsible for them. You got to take care of them. You brought them into the world. You got to provide. You got to
100%. I don't regret anything that I ever did for my kids.
There you go.
I want to make that very clear. That was my choice, and I would do it again. Every moment I spent with my kids and for my kids, I have zero regrets. I wish I could have done more.
Exactly.
I don't want anybody to listen to this and be like, "Oh, that's my excuse to pull back as a parent." No, that's not at all what I'm saying.
No. What we are saying is you've sacrificed because you get 3 or 4 kids, there's going to be 20 years of your life gone with all of these activities that we're talking about, right?
Yep.
So this is just a natural sacrificial thing that men are going through. And then you get to our age and it just piles up and piles up. And here we are.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to figure out, how do I get back into life? Because you've got to have – this is one thing I get in trouble for is I take time for – my life is my time to live my life.
Yeah.
I might quit breathing tomorrow. Who knows when we're going to get called home.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And whether it's selfish or not, I firmly believe that I've got to take time for me. And our producer over there, Johnny, we had a conversation about this very thing. I'm Christian. I served an LDS mission just like you.
Yep.
I believe in God. I believe God's our Heavenly Father. I believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. Okay? Johnny and I had a conversation about him, Jesus Christ, and what did he do all the time before any big thing that he had to do, Sermon on the Mount, teach anywhere. What did he do? He went into the mountains by himself. 40 days he fasted alone, right?
Yeah.
If we watch that new series, The Chosen, we talked about this just the other day. He's always gone.
Yeah.
He teaches with his apostle, and then he's gone for a while.
Yeah.
What's he doing? We don't know. It's not written
How cool
down.
would it be to know what he was doing?
Oh, how cool would it be?
Most of that show, he's not in it.
Yeah, he's not in it, but he is in it.
Yeah.
He's in the whole thing. But I've taken that to heart. If it's good enough for the Savior of the world to go off by himself and take time for himself, I think that shows an example to us that we need to take time for ourselves. And my rule is 10%. It might seem like a lot. What's 10% of a year? It's 36 days, right? I believe you got to take
That's
time.
a little over one a month.
Yeah. It's almost just over a month. And for a long time, I didn't do it. And I noticed my happiness and my drive and my will to just keep plugging away like we're talking about here was severely diminished.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so tired, physically, mentally, whatever it is. But then I'd go carp fishing or I'd go bow hunting carp for 2 hours.
Yep.
And I would be shocked at the rejuvenation that I had. If you want a stress relief, go shoot carp with a bow and arrow. It's amazing.
Slime balls. Oh,
it's
boy.
amazing. I'd be out there for 2 or 3 hours, not thinking about anything, in my work clothes, getting dirty, shooting carp with a bow and arrow.
You just said it right there. Thinking about nothing.
Thinking about nothing. It's so therapeutic that we get out, and I think being out in nature is magical for a ton of different reasons. The grounding effect, the being in the sunlight, the peace and the quiet and the birds and just whatever is going on. But even if you say you live in a big city, I don't know what the correlation is, but you've got to take time for yourself. whether it's you go golfing or you go whatever it is you do in a big city, take time for yourself to unwind and be alone. Drive around in your car with the radio off. I do that every day going to work. I listen to zero radio.
I've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And here's one thing that I tell my kids. If God's going to talk to you, because I believe he talks to all of us, if you're always listening to a podcast or the radio or music cranked or this or that or the other, when does he have time? So don't listen to the radio on the way to school or on the way to work. Have it on no volume, and maybe God will have his chance to talk to you during that time, right? So I think what we're hitting on is very critical for guys to understand that, hey, I need to take time for myself. I need to start golfing again. I've come to that realization. I need to go fishing again. I need to go hunting. I need to do life for me because we don't know when it's going to end.
There you go. And I'm a better dad. I'm a better husband when I'm healthy. I've heard people say that forever. You got to take care of you first, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
what does that mean?
That didn't resonate with me. I didn't understand it until I started making choices for myself, which felt so incredibly selfish that I was doing something for myself, because that is not what I had ever done for decades, multiple decades. And then once I started stepping back and feeling like, no, I'm going to do something for me. And I felt guilty. I felt selfish, but I knew I needed to do it. I'm more patient. I'm more loving. So much more loving. I see my wife and her goodness more deeply now than I ever have, because I'm healthy and I have a different thought process of what's important. And now I'm able to fully love her deeper than I ever have. And the only thing that changed was me.
Where do you think that feeling comes from of it? This is selfish and wrong to go out and do things for yourself and on your own. Is it societal? Is it cultural? Is it religious?
Well, for me,
because we're in a tight little bubble where we live.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, we are. We're a small little culture. Yeah. I don't know, Steve, exactly. I can say for me, I remember so clearly the very first time that I had an employee go out to do a job for me and I went home. I knew I could be doing the job that he was doing. I had been doing it for years and years and years, but I made a decision that I'm going to go home today. Can you go do this job? And I got home and I didn't know what to do. I'd never been home this time of day before with my kids at home. And I was sitting in the living room on the couch and I'm like, what do people do after work? Sitting there and I'm just kind of floundering, and I hear my kids in the room, in one of the bedrooms, kind of arguing with each other, and I'm like, what the heck is this? I felt so conflicted. Thought maybe I should call my guy that's out doing this job for me, and maybe I could just go help him. Then he'll get home quicker, and we can do this job together, and we'll both be able to get home. And I'm like, no, stop. Identify what this is that you're feeling. And what I ended up doing was I went in my kid's room and I said, I haven't been home this time of day for years. We're going to go do something. And just making that decision that I'm going to do something with my time that's productive shifted my mind out of that guilt. So to me, I felt guilty for several different reasons. The money, I'm paying this guy to be out there doing a job that I can be doing, that I should be doing, that is money that I could use, whatever. But I didn't know what to do with my time. I didn't know what to do with my time. I didn't know how to relax. I'd trained my body to be go, go, go all the time. And I had to learn how to relax. I forced myself to, I think this is part of my attitude as being a parent of, I only have so much time with them. And if I'm home, I'm going to be with them. I'm not going to sit and waste time with my kids at home.
Define waste time at home with your kids.
Watching TV, death scrolling Instagram. My kids are probably listening to this now going, oh, whatever, Dad, you spend time on Instagram. And I do. I'm a normal dude. I'm not perfect, but I also have the attitude of make the most out of the time that I have, So.
Because I was going to say, we don't have TV at our house. We have Netflix and stuff like that, but I'll go down and I try to make it a habit that I'll go down and I'll watch a show with my youngest daughter, just me and her. And we usually watch Gordon Ramsay, one of his cooking shows. And we sit and make fun of it and have a good time and laugh. And she knows, hey, when Dad comes down, this is what we're doing. She stops the show she's watching and we watch Gordon Ramsay.
That's awesome.
And we have a laugh. But that's kind of what we do. We watch TV together. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Or a wasteful thing if it's done in a way where you're spending time with this person.
Yeah,
because I don't think our kids need big grandiose things, right? They just need presence.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're doing something like that and it's done with intent instead of laziness, where I just come home and plop down and I'm in front of the TV for 6 hours because it's evening time and this is what I do and my kids are in the room on their phone, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's good stuff. I appreciate you sharing that, Steve.
Yeah.
So January 2018, I'm out in the front of my yard, in front of my house, doing a couple things, tinkering with some machines, and I get a phone call from my mom. He says, and I just live a couple miles from where I grew up. She said, "Get down here, your dad's dead." I'm like, "What?" Well, I drive down there, and she was right. And I walked up to my dad, who was sitting outside. He'd been hunting ducks that day. Back to the boat in the driveway, got out, went and sat in this chair that he would sit in from time to time. And he had it set up just where if it's a sunny, cold winter day in January in northern Utah, the sun would be hitting him. And I pull into the driveway and I can see him sitting in this chair and he's got his thumbs in his hoodie. And I'm like, "Mom, what are you talking about? Why would you say this to me? Why would you call me with that? He's right there. He's fine." And I walk up to him and he was dead. And that started a new era for me. And it was incredibly, incredibly difficult couple years for me. Dealing with the loss, dealing with so much. Anybody that's lost a loved one understands that it's not lineal. You're all over the place, and you'll be happy and then you'll be sad. And then it makes no sense.
So you're 47 at the time?
No, I would have been 42, 43, something like that. That was January of 2018. So 8 years-ish ago.
Okay. Kids are all high school, middle school?
My kids were in middle school, elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they've all just lost their grandpa.
Yeah.
He was how old when he died?
72.
72.
Way too young.
Too young, but...
For me, it was too young. Anybody that loses anybody is too young.
Yeah. And we had just come home from a really killer goose trip.
Yeah. We'd spent a couple days, the same trip that you and I just took our kids on.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for years. We were up in Wyoming hunting geese, and my dad went with us, and I spent 2 amazing days up there hunting with my dad. And then he came home with my son Tanner, and then you and I stayed for a couple more days.
And got some good sleep because we didn't have to listen to him snore.
Oh, man, he was an epic snorer.
Wow, bud.
Yeah, it's something else. You guys think you've heard a loud snore. You haven't heard anything. But anyway, from that, I did a lot of introspection. looking into myself, I broke everything down. I had the thought one day, is like, I like to hunt, I like to fish. And then I thought, do I? Or is that just what I always did with my dad? And so I went through and I deconstructed my life to nothing and thought, what do I like? Why do I like it? Do I really like it? What do I believe? Do I really believe that? Or is it just what I've been taught? I deconstructed everything through grief, trying to find myself. And that was the first time in my adult life since I'd graduated high school, I thought, maybe you should take some time for yourself, Jeff. So the next year I left education. When school got out in 2019, that was it. It was the last time I've been in a classroom. And I've had one job for the last 6 or 7 years, and it is refreshing. I thought, and I work hard. I still go. But to have one job and realize I'd rather go without money or things or vacations or whatever so that I can feel at one with myself, it's been the best years of my life. And my kids have been going through high school. My oldest two have graduated. And I think what another little tender mercy that God gave me to be like, hey, you're an idiot. Go home, be a dad, work one job. You're fine. And being able to be around my kids at this stage of their life where I missed so much before. I have so many regrets about things that I missed. But to be with them as they're 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old that I can connect with and see who they are and spend time with them. I'm the same. I started golfing a couple of years ago because my boys were always at the golf course. And I thought, I can spend hours a week with my boys if I learn how to golf. And I have the last several years. And it's not because I love golf. I do love golf, but I do it so I can be with my kids. And just recently, the last several months, through my deconstruction of Jeff Lowe as a whole after my dad died, part of that was religion, God, all of it went out the window. I have felt an enlightenment the last several months coming back to me thinking there is more. I had an experience after my dad died. Those of you that are waterfowl hunters, this is what Steve was talking about a few minutes ago. If you are a waterfowler, if you're not, let me explain. With ducks, with geese, with migratory birds of all sorts, the government, and not just in the United States, but countries all over the world participate in the bird banding program. And what it is they'll go out with ducks and geese. They go out in June when they're molting and they can't fly. And they'll go out on boats and they'll net a bunch of different birds. And they'll check them for their health or check them for their sex, if they're male or female, approximately how old they are. And they take all this information, where it was that they captured this bird, and they put a band on this bird's leg. And then later on, if a hunter shoots a bird and it has a band on it, which is
a little metal ring.
It's a little metal ring. It has a number on it. And you can go on this website and type in the number, and it will tell you this bird was banded in Nunavut, Canada in 2006. It was too young to fly at that age. And the scientists, whoever, I don't know exactly how all they use this, but they track the migration of birds by using the data from these bands. It's actually awesome.
Yeah, when hunters shoot them,
hunters
they call in and they recover all this information.
Yeah, or I've even been out bird watching through my spotting scope, and I can see a bird with a band on it. And if I'm lucky, once or twice, I can zoom in and get the number, and I'll go on the website and still get the same information. I get the information. The scientists get the information of that bird and its migration. So that's what a banded goose or a banded bird or a banded duck means. So when you're a waterfowler in my area, it's pretty rare to shoot a duck or a goose that has a band on it.
Yeah, I've never got one.
I have shot at this point in 2018, I'd shot 3 or 4 ever. And I'm in my mid 40s at this point. Had a funeral for my dad. The very next day, his best friend, Van Jenkins, grew up out in Newton, Utah. They were best friends from the time they were in first grade. And after they retired, the last several years of their lives, those two guys would hunt geese 6 days a week, all winter. And I just love that they got to do that. But the day after my dad's funeral, Van called me. And he said, hey, it's only a few more weeks left of the goose hunting season. You going to go anymore? And I just started crying. I'm like, Van, I can't. I'm so sad. I miss my dad so much. That will make my pain worse. I can't go do right now what I did with my dad for all those years. He's like, yeah, I feel the exact same. I'll meet you at the boat ramp at 5 a.m. So I got up and I went and sat in the goose blind with Van Jenkins. And that in itself was a gift, that my dad had such great friends that he would do that for me. And we're sitting there. Sun had just come up, and there's 2 geese flying straight at us. We're out on the water, and we had to boat into this place. And there's 2 geese flying straight at us, and he's on the right, I'm on the left. And he goes, well, just take the bird on your side. And they come right in. And boom, boom. We shoot these 2 geese, and I go out in the water and pick up this goose that I had shot, and it had a band on it. And I knew instantly. I just thought, thank you, God. Thank you. You're speaking my language. Then a few minutes later, here comes some more geese. And they're flying over us, and they're coming at us. And Van says, I'll take the one on my side. You take the one on your side. And we shoot a couple more geese. And I go out there in the water, and I pick up, I'd shot 2 geese that time from those groups that were coming in. I pick up Van's on his side and bring him to him. He's older, and he doesn't get around in the water well at this point. And then I went over the other side to pick mine up, and I pick one up, and it's banded. Cool. I've never shot 2 bands in a day. Thank you, God. I went over and picked up the other one, and it had a band on it, and I just break down crying. Like, what in the world? What is happening? And I felt my dad with me. He's like, you know God exists. You know I'm still here. Plain as day. I thought, whew. So I'm out there crying in the water, trying to drag these geese back into the blind. And it happened again. Here comes 2 birds flying straight at us. Van shoots his, I shoot mine. I went out and got them. They're both banded. We've shot 5 banded geese at this point, and I had been telling Van's out of his mind. He's like, I've never had this happen. He's like, I've been hunting this spot since I was 14 years old, and he's 72 at this point. This has never happened. You know what's going on, right, Jeff? Like, yeah. I give him his bird, and I'm like, apparently Dad still loves you too, Van. And then I shot 1 more. The limit was 5. I shot 5 banded geese that day. Every goose I shot was banded. And Van got a little nugget from my dad, a little thank you for being there for my son. Thanks for being such a good friend. And I don't think I've shot a banded goose since then. I've shot a lot of geese, but I haven't. Well, I take that back. I have shot 1. I've shot 1 banded goose since then. And I've got a collection of, a few bands. And a lot of people like to wear them on their lanyard with their goose calls. And most of mine I've just got on a little shelf in my room downstairs in my house. But those 5 are always with me. I put those 5 on my lanyard. And every time I put that on, I get the gift. I get the tender mercy of remembering that day that my dad smacked me upside the head from the other side and said, Jeff, you know God exists. You know this is real. And he spoke my language that I would understand. If it happened any other way, I don't think I would have listened. But I know that world. I know that language. And man, what a gift. What a gift. So as I had that experience, and the last few months as I've been reigniting my passion for Christ. I just can't get over the thought, and I hate to say this, I don't want to sound like a weirdo, but like, I feel called to create Bonded Brotherhood. I want to help people. I miss being in the classroom helping those kids that I could help. I miss it so badly. And I think maybe this is an opportunity for me to be helpful. I'm not a trained therapist. Maybe people should listen to me. Maybe they shouldn't. It's not for me to say. All I know is that I care. I have sympathy. I have felt some really dark things. And when other people might be in that realm at all, I want to be there for them because I care. And that's Bonded Brotherhood.
It is. And that's what hit me on our ride home from that goose hunt where we first started talking about this. And I've been racking through my brain, what is my role in this? As we've had some pretty in-depth conversations over the past couple months putting this all together, and it's an ongoing thing. We're not done yet.
Yeah.
We've still got things to do. Yeah. If guys can't relate to your story, I don't know what planet they're living on, because we're all going to experience loss of life of a loved one.
Yep.
Or lack of love from a loved one, or abuse, or marital problems, or whatever the thing is. And I think as men, it's sometimes hard to admit it and accept it and know how to vocalize it or even what it is. But we just know something's just off.
Yeah.
Something's not right with me. I need to figure it out. Like Jeff said, we're not licensed therapists. But I think what our plan is, it's not to be licensed therapist. You can get that anywhere, right? How many Instagram pages are there and Facebook pages and people in the phone book you can call to go and get, one-on-one counseling? That's not what we're here for. We're here to get you outside and get doing something.
Yeah. And
be around like-minded people and guys that have been through or going through what you're going through, right?
Absolutely.
And get those times away. It's not a cure-all. It's not something that we can just do every day, all day and create therapy, but we can get you out once a month, once a quarter, and go and do something that is mentally stimulating, mentally fulfilling, that clears our minds and helps us get back on track. Because we don't need to be partying and fishing every day, all day, or golfing. That's just as bad as the other side, right?
Yep.
But we do need a break, and that's what we're going to do, right? There's other groups that they podcast, and we're not disparaging anything. We're here to help. But we're going to provide ways for guys to come out and do something maybe they've never done before. Maybe they've never gone camping before. Maybe they've never done an ice plunge in a frozen lake before. Mm-hmm. Maybe they've never caught a fish on a fly rod before. Let's go out and do it, right?
Absolutely.
And as we grow this, we're going to have a Patreon set up so you guys can be a part of the journey. That's what we're looking for, is everyone pitch in. Let's get everybody involved. Let's make something out of this, Let's get guys involved and get them doing stuff that they just maybe have never dreamed of doing. And that's kind of where I come into play, because I've done quite a bit. I've made it a purposeful thing to go out. Like, I've taken you on trips before. I've taken other friends on trips before. I just took my son on a trip, and it was so awesome. It was awesome to be just with him, but it's awesome to be by myself and to listen to nature and just to hear the birds waking up in the morning. It's something that we just don't really get to do. You might hear them as you're showering and getting ready for work and going out to your truck, but just to sit there immersed in it and have nothing else to do other than to listen to the birds wake up the world. it's powerful.
It is.
And it's so simple. It's crazy just to go listen to nature wake up and what it does to heal your body, right? So that's what we're here to do, you know? Let's get guys involved. Let's get them outside. Let's help guys get over some things.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. That perfectly said. That's what we want to do. We want to provide some sort of an outlet where men can come and do something that maybe they wouldn't do on their own, or they don't know how or where to start, or they don't have the money to go buy a tent and a sleeping bag and a cooking stove and blah, blah, blah. That's why we went nonprofit, is so that we can, Steve and I can work on donors and cover as much of that as we possibly can, so that men that want to come can come.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and you want to be a donor, reach out to us. If you want to be a Patreon subscriber, we'll post up a way to get onto that as well. Yeah, I feel really good about this, man. I think we're going to help a lot of people. Things have already fallen into place that have been pretty fortuitous. So I think the writing's on the wall. And if you're listening to this is our first episode. It's been pretty real. There's been tears shed. There's been real stuff talked about. And I think it is everybody's story, right? I don't know anybody that gets through life without life really kicking them right in the teeth.
Yeah.
And if it hasn't yet, it's probably because you're not old enough. Right? At some point, it's going to.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of life, is we get to step up to the challenge.
Yeah.
Because if I've gone through all of, my dumb choices and my deciding to work too much and my possible genetic predisposition to this or that, I, Jeff Lowe, at this point in my life, am growing more as a human than I ever have, because I'm making choices to be a better human.
Yeah, it's not a midlife crisis.
No.
It's a midlife rebirth.
Yes, I get to rebuild myself, and I'm excited about life now that I'm rebuilding who I want to be. I want to be loving. Be loving. You want to be patient? Be patient. You want to help people? Help people. It's in my hands. My future's in my hand.
Yeah.
So, and it's in all of our hands. Yeah.
And I'm sure on a future episode we can get into my story a little bit more, but I wanted this to be your story. Take the time to really dive into because this is your brainchild, right? This is Jeff Lowe, and this is why we're doing this.
Well, I couldn't do it without you. We both know that's the truth.
Sure.
There's a reason I've been thinking about it, but not doing anything for years. I needed you, and you're going to make this happen. So,
well, here we are.
I'm excited. Thank you for listening to the Bonded Brotherhood Podcast. We're thankful that you're here, and we hope that something that you heard today was useful. Please consider leaving us a 5-star rating, as well as leaving us a review so we can read your thoughts. Thank you again.